Hi everyone, it's Randy and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be completing week 4 Collage Challenge Collage. The prompts are Octopus, Statue, Use a Stencil, Numbers, and 3 of anything. And I'm just looking right now in the Daphne's Diary magazine because I love the images in there. I'm thinking maybe 3 of these paintbrushes might work, but they're too large. They were cute though. But I'm looking for my 3 of anything and my numbers. And I love so many things in Daphne's Diary that I always love to look through these magazines for inspiration, for collages. And here I have found some flowers that I think I might be able to use. So I'm just going to cut those out and put those aside and flip through the rest of the magazine and just see what I come up with. There's some more of those roses. They are a little bit cut up because there's an overlay on them of an image, so I'm not sure if they'll work, but we will certainly try and see what happens. I've also got a jelly plate print that I printed out, and it's blues and greens and purples, and the overlay on that is some gold. There's some white in there also, just peeking through from the actual piece of paper. And I found the images of the octopus and the Buddha that you saw when I just came on. I've sped this video up so that it goes a little faster for you and you don't have to speed it up, and that you'll still be able to hear me talking so you know what's going on and I don't sound like a chipmunk going really fast. So Raw Pixel is where I go to find a lot of my images. I saw another collager looking for things on there, and I went on there and liked it. You just put in the search engine what you're looking for, and a lot of times it'll come right up. Sometimes you do have to put in some other search words, keywords, to get what you're really looking for, but I like the flowers on this other page and on the back. Actually, there's some birds there, but that color matches the color palette of the octopus and the Buddha, so I've pulled that. And I'm just keep searching and searching to see what I can find in there. I didn't find any numbers, so I pulled my Somerset Studio to see if I can find some numbers in there. And I'm just kind of flipping through, and there's really nothing in there, so I'm going to go and pull a Nat Geo. There's usually some numbers in there, but I'm looking for larger numbers. Seems like so far what I've come across in here is small numbers. I actually bought these Nat Geos to try the Citrusov process on, and I haven't done that yet, so Nat Geos are a really good source for any kind of collage imaging that you might be looking for, and I can't wait to try some of the Citrusov on that. So I ordered some of the magazines on eBay, and I made sure that I ordered the years that they say that work the best with the Citrusol process. So I didn't find anything in there, so I'm going to pull out a magazine that's a local magazine in town, and it's free, and so I usually pick one up when I see a new one come out, and right away I'm starting to find some numbers in there. So I'm cutting those out. This is a really cool magazine too. They have a lot of arts and plants and things of that nature and people in here, and so I like to keep these on hand too because they're pretty fun to look through and source images. So that seems to be about the same size as the last numbers that I cut out. And this seems to be the same size too, so which is weird. Not sure I'm going to find any big ones. And look at there, that one is the same size too. And then we have some, looks like some fun summertime drinks. I might have to keep this magazine and try some of those. But those are drinks from local restaurants and bars around here, and they give you their recipe to try. So I'm just continuing to flip and see what I can find. I'm behind on my collage. I'm behind. I've got 2 more to do after this, week 4B and week 5. So I work part-time. I wish I worked part-time. I work full-time. And so sometimes it's hard to come home and, do some arting. And especially when you want to spend time with your family and have dinner and do things. So sometimes I get behind. But I wanted to sit down today and take time to get one knocked out of the way. Because I hate being behind, and I really want to keep up with this 52-week collage challenge that we have going on in the group Bohodaydreams. And if you would like to join us, I'll put the link for Bohodaydreams down below. Just don't forget to answer all the questions, or your request to join will be declined. So just say, you saw the video and would like to join to do the collage challenge. So I think I'm done cutting out, and I'm just going to cut down the numbers here. That was a phone number that I cut out, and so I just wanted to cut the dashes out of that, so it would just be numbers. And so I'm just cutting everything down. That one group of numbers is really cool. They look like elements from a periodic table, but it's really just dates. They just wrote them weird. And so I really like those right there that I'm working on now. I think I like those the best. But we'll play around and lay everything out and see how it works. Who knows, I might not end up liking that at all. I brought a couple stencils. I've got some Lavinia stencils that I got at a scrapbook expo. I thought I might use those. And I've grabbed a Tim Holtz stencil that's got some numbers on it. It's actually the eye chart stencil, and I really like that one, and I haven't used it yet. So I thought if the numbers were a flop, I might try that. So I'm just cutting my flowers out here, and I'm going to place them. As you can see, I put the Buddha down, and I put the octopus over his face, which is my goal overall. I wanted to use that octopus as a face on a statue. And so I went through Raw Pixel, and I was pulling several statues and printing them out, because sometimes it's hard to tell what they actually look like and what size they are before you print them out. And so I printed out several and tried the octopus. I tried a Greek statue, a large stone, like terracotta statue head, and the Buddha actually ended up being more so the correct scale for the octopus. So I went with him. He's a little dark, but I think you can still make out what he is. And I'm just arranging these flowers to see. The other flower is kind of chopped up, and so I'm not sure I like it. I do like the pink though, but these flowers here and the leaves and the swirly vines, they actually go with the color palette of the octopus and the Buddha better. So I'm kind of digging on those. Just trying to see if there's 3 of any of them, and there's really only 2, so I think I'm going to cut out 2 of the smaller versions and then 1 of the larger. I think they're actually lotus flowers, maybe. It's going to take a lot of fussy cutting on these though. So I think if I get these arranged right and they look good, I'm probably going to pause and then cut these out, so that you don't have to sit through that, because it might take me a little while, and I'll probably get my X-Acto knife out and then just go to town on those. That one's the larger one, so I'm just trying to figure out what my layout's going to be. So if I cut one out a little bit, it'll help me with the space and just see what we got here. These are a little fiddly with this fussy cutting with those vines going around in a circle. So I'm definitely going to have to cut these out with my X-Acto knife. If you haven't been using an X-Acto knife with your collaging, you really don't know what you're missing. It cuts down on so much time. It's really nice. See how long this is taking with scissors? Okay, so I just came back. I paused the video. I have fussy cut everything out, and I'm going to use my jelly print paper background, but I'm going to tear the edge because I don't want the cut edge. In my previous collages, I've just cut the edges of my background, and I didn't really like it, so I want to have the jagged edge here. So if you haven't seen my other videos, I'm using a previous year's Happy Planner because I like the fact that you can take the pages out and you can work on them and then pop them back in, because it's a ring bound, or it's actually a disc bound journal. It's not really a ring bound journal. If you've never seen one, they're pretty cool. And I have several of them that I used to use when I was using a planner for work and such. And so I have several of them that I can use for collages. So I'm really excited that I didn't throw these away. I'm using some matte medium here to attach my paper. I don't really want to use a glue stick here because I really want this to stick down really well. I don't want it to come away from the paper, and the glue stick is not really permanent. This is more so permanent. I'm sure really no glue is permanently permanent, but this will last longer than a glue stick will. It tends to wrinkle up the paper a bit or warp it sometimes, so I try to put it on really thinly. I'm at the bottom of my jar here, so it's a little thick, and I don't really want to put water in it because I don't want to make it too watery. And so I'm just using the end of the jar here, but putting thin layers on because you don't want a really thick layer. Just trying to rub out any air bubbles that might be in there. I saw this tool that Nicole on Relax Cut Glue uses, and it looks like a paintbrush except for it's made like a bone folder, and it's like a, I don't know, it's like a squeegee and a bone folder and a paintbrush without a handle had a baby. So I want to look for one of those on Amazon and see what I can come up with. I really like that. I keep meaning to ask her in a comment where she got hers. I'm sure she's probably said at some point, but I haven't quite come across the video where she mentions that. So I'm just using a popsicle stick to get the remaining glue, incorporated with the paper to get it stuck down really well. And then I'm just going to start arranging and see what looks good and start gluing everything down. I do like these flowers. I thought they might pop a little more, and I left a little bit of a white outline around them when I was cutting them out, but I'm not really sure I like that. I'm just trying some different numbers here to see what I like. I always kind of lay out my collage, and I don't start gluing down until I really know which way I'm going with things, because as soon as you do and you get something down where you don't want it, then you're kind of stuck unless you're going to put something else over it. This jelly print has some gold on it, which I really like, if you can see it shining through there. And I'm deciding that I think I might use this Tim Holtz stencil, and then I kind of get a twofer, so I'm using a stencil plus the numbers, because I don't have a lot of room on this collage with the Buddha and everything. So I think I'm going to go that route. It's the eye chart one from Tim Holtz. If I didn't say that before, I think I did, but just in case you're wondering, I'm sure you see the Tim Holtz paper there. These are really, really fiddly. Just gonna put them down and make sure that they're gonna stay where I want them, and that they're gonna show under the Buddha. So I don't want them on top of him. I just want them behind him, kind of like they're coming out of his neck and his head, or that he's sitting in front of a vine of flowers. So I'm trying not to cover up too much of that gold, but you'll be able to see it through the vines, so I think that's okay. Just trying to be careful and not tear any of these little bitty pieces that curl around. Now the last one. So I've put the two that are smaller and the same on one side, and then the bigger one on the other side. It's really the only way I could work it out. So those are my 3 flowers that I've decided will be my 3 of anything. And now I can lay Buddha down. Put some Vicky Boutin, I'm not sure how you say her name, art crayons on the octopus for a little more color, because he was kind of drab. And so you can see that orangey red color, and then some yellow or some orange yellow there. So I'm hoping that he'll show up really well. I love that statue. He's just presenting really well. I hope he will still show really well when I get the octopus on his face. At the end of the video, my video cuts off, and so it's going to end abruptly, which I don't like. So I have put a picture of the finished product right after it cuts off, because obviously I can't go back and recreate what I was doing when the camera was off, because it's already finished. So I just put that on there, so you actually get to see the finished product. And of course that'll probably be the thumbnail too. Just making sure that all the octopus arms are down. And they're not going to come up when I start shading. I usually shade with a Stabilo pencil, a black one. I have some white ones too, but I haven't used that as much, really. So I think I'm going to use the whole line of these numbers. Just getting some gesso, about out of that too. I'm just going to lightly go over the numbers with my palette knife. Look how cute that turned out. I'm also going to, once these dry, I'll probably dry them with my dryer, whatever you call that thing. And then I'm going to paint them with some gold. And then once the gold dries, I'm going to take some black paint and then I'm going to do some accents on the numbers so they really pop. I think they'd look funny if I left them white. The good thing about gesso and a Stabilo pencil and an art crayon is that if you take a baby wipe and you get it soon enough and you're gentle enough, you know, without wiping your other stuff off, all those things will come up nicely. So if you want to try something and you're unsure about it, just know that you can correct yourself. The numbers are a lot smaller than I was hoping to put numbers, but there just really isn't much room here. So I think the smaller numbers are actually turning out good. That 8 is kind of clumpy looking. I don't know why it keeps coming out like that. I guess because the holes are bigger. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean the gesso off of this stencil because once the gesso dries, it's harder to get that off of something like that. I really like this stencil, so I want to be able to use it again. Hope everybody's doing okay out there. And I hope you're getting some crafty time and that everybody's well. To 1,000 subscribers in my channel, and I'm really excited. I think I'm at 980, so I only have like 20 more to go. I've been working on a journal, and I think I'm gonna have a giveaway and give that journal away, so I'm excited about that. So once I hit 1,000, you have to excuse me there, I was getting my crayons and I bumped the camera. I keep struggling with my camera. It keeps moving a little bit. Like any little jiggling on the table, it moves around and it drives me insane. But if you have stuck with me this far, I hope that you will give me a like and a share and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and then set that little reminder bell to get reminders when I upload videos. My goal initially was to have these collages up once a week, but I just realized that that's sometimes not realistic for me, having to work and other commitments. So I will do the best that I can. Right now I'm catching up, so I might have to do another video tomorrow night. We'll see how that works out. It's pretty late tonight, and I think it's after 11, maybe something like that. I can't see my phone. And it's hard to stay up that late and get up and go to work the next morning. It just is. So these are the Vicky Boutin, I'm not sure how you say her name, crayons to the left. And I'm just trying to figure out here if I want to do the Stabilo pencil, or if I want to do some of the crayons, or if I want to do both. The crayons, they're thick, and so the tip of them isn't a precision tip, and so it's difficult to get around those flowers. And so the Stabilo pencil will probably work the best, but I love these crayons. They're so smooth, and they just smudge really well. It's just hard getting in really small places with them. So you can see they show up really well. They're very pigmented. I just love the look of them. I'm trying to get the octopus to show up a little bit more. For some reason my eye is just splaying out on the paper. It's not drawing to anything specific, and so it's frustrating me a little bit. All I did on the numbers that won't show because the camera cuts off is I just took a small paintbrush and shook up my gold paint, and then took the paint that was in the lid and barely brushed the numbers, and then I took a small thin paintbrush and just barely put some black paint on it and went down the right sides of the numbers just so it would be a nice outline. I knew I wasn't going to be able to smudge around those numbers because they're a little bit raised, and I didn't want to get the black onto the number, so the Stabilo pencil was worrying me a little bit where that was concerned. So I just decided to use some black paint, and I just used black acrylic paint, and the gold is metallic gold paint, acrylic paint. I know a lot of folks are out there doing collage challenges and journaling challenges and stitching challenges and all these things, and it's nice at the beginning of a year, I think, to find, what challenge I want to do. And I knew I wanted to collage this year, so I set up this 52-week collage challenge for everyone in the group, and so far it's been very well received, and everybody's posting their work in the group for everybody to see. It's really, really fun. So like I said earlier, if you're not in our group, I'll put the link down below, and we'd love to have you. We're very easygoing in our group. We just like to see everybody's art. The group's called Bohodaydreams, but your stuff doesn't have to be boho. It's, you know, we love all kinds of art. So I'm just going around the Buddha there, kind of shading him to incorporate him a little bit more. You can see at the top, I've used the Stabilo pencil around the very top right swirl. That's the look that I really love. I love the smoky look. If you look back on my other collage videos, you'll see that I love to do the shading, and the one with the eyes in particular, I did a lot of shading on those. I thought that one turned out really cool. But I'm just learning so much through this process. Thinking about different products and seeing things in different ways. Kind of learning my style. It's just a fun exercise. It's very therapeutic, this shading and buffing out the color and cutting paper. I don't, you know, there's something really therapeutic about that too, I think. In retrospect, I kind of wished I would have used the flowers to the left of my left hand there to make it pop more, but the lotus flowers definitely are in keeping with the style. I just maybe wish they were a different color. I feel like everything's kind of melding together. Up close, it's a little different when you can look at it in person, which I find with all artwork. You know, it never really presents itself like it actually is. And there's the end. Bye!